Okay. Well, as an outsider, there's still a lot I don't know about this town. But I really want to get along with everyone. That's basically as far as I thought.
見ろ、あれが今度私の映画で主役を張るサンタクロースだ。静かにしてください、キリエさん。
I begin attending St. Aria Academy in a role that somehow makes even less sense than ever before. I wanted to ditch the identity, but being known as Santa made far bigger waves much faster than I expected, and that proved impossible. Maybe this is fine. While able to justify my search for Sakuya, I'm faced with an unprecedented problem.
にしてもサンタと一緒に飯食うことになるとは思わなかったな。
Kyrie, how many times do I gotta tell you I'm not Santa? I'm just like him. It's after school. Having survived my first day of classes, I'm currently enjoying lunch with my friends like usual. Granted, this is far from the norm for them, and if I'm being honest, it is for me as well. How could it be that Sakuya is missing? Well, with Sakuya missing, Sakuya is very prominently absent from the table. It creates a sense of emptiness strong enough to rob me of my appetite.
先輩、そのコロッケいらないんですか？もらってあげます。
Don't even think about it. I'm saving it for later.
先輩のロールキャベツ一つでいいんでください。
No way. I only have one.
先輩、よければこのサラダもらってください。昨夜はごぼうが苦手なのです。
I guess so. Sure. Memories of us eating together flash before my eyes, one after the other. I can't believe just sitting in the cafeteria makes me think about her this much. Sakuya. I absently murmur her name, and Yuji, who's sitting beside me, speaks up.
シュウは昨夜を探しに来たんだよな。
Yeah. It goes without question that Sakuya's sudden disappearance has left her close friends feeling anxious over her whereabouts.
この前からみんなでしらみつぶしに探してんのによ。全然見つかんなくて困ってたところだ。大丈夫かな、昨夜。どこかで倒れたりしてないよね。
しかし部屋はすっかり片付いていたんだろう。だとしたら意図的な失踪かもしれない。
何にしても無事で会ってくれなくては困る。凛花のようになられては。
I don't think Rinka's was intentional like Sakuya's.
黒サンタって存在は本当にいるんでしょうか？
いるからシュウが来たってことなんじゃないの？
People in this town can be more readily convinced that Bad Santa exists than that the Aurora can be crossed. I took advantage of that and labeled myself as Santa Claus. At the very least, I can use that status to reassure them. Sakuya is alive. I know that much for sure. I've read the guide.
本当？サンタが言うんだぞ。間違いねえって。
Rinka, though, not so sure.
シュウ君のことを疑うわけじゃないけど、どうしてそう言い切れるの？
Because she's a romance option. I know Sakuya ran away which means she's still somewhere in town.
黒サンタって 無理やりさらっていく存在じゃなかったのか。
自らいなくなったってどうして？シュウは昨夜のことどこまで？
Well, uh-oh. I've managed to talk myself into a corner. I want to tell her everything, but any explanation I could come up with would sound ridiculous. She told me what she was about to... She told me what she was about to do before she went missing. Make up an answer steeped in the truth. It's not exactly true, but it's not a total lie either.
さよなら。
That last word she spoke to me echoes in the back of my head. What the hell was that about? I'm sure we both know we're far too close for our relationship to end on a single word. So no matter how much she might hate it, I won't stop looking until I find her. That's our mission now. Wait for me, Sakuya. And when I find her, I vow to save her. The next day. Never mind. 2nd of December. The constant feeling that something is missing haunts me and everyone else every day. The person we used to always see back at the dorms and at school is simply gone. With this essential cog misplaced, every day feels empty, as if something is clearly absent. But because of her absence, events are set into motion that never would have occurred, never would have otherwise.
来てくれてありがとう、シュウ君。ちょっと君に聞きたいことがあって。おとなしく答えりゃ、命だけは助けてやる。
This is about Bad Santa, isn't it?
うん。前にも少し触れたけど、1年前までこの学校にはリンカという女子がいて。
Of course, those two are interested in a man claiming to be Santa on the hunt for his counterpart. I answered them truthfully, saying I still have no idea where Sakuya or Rinka are.
シュウは黒サンタを狩るサンタじゃなかったか？
Not exactly. I'm not a hunter. Just Santa. I never thought I'd find myself talking on the mantle of Santa Claus, but here we are.
そっか。ごめんね、変なこと聞いて。
Kotaha must know I lack the supernatural abilities of the real Santa Claus. Because of that, I would have preferred if she didn't try to feel out my true intentions. But at least now that me in this timeline knows who Rinka is and her disappearance.
とりあえず、今は昨夜だね。もういなくなって10日くらい経つ。
It's entirely possible she'll come back. After all, she has to come back from wherever she is in time for Christmas. The destruction is far too vast for one person alone, unless the bombs are triggered remotely. Actually, now that I think about it, aside from us, of course.
でも本当にいいの？私がツリーにリンゴの飾り付けるだけなんだけど。
Yeah, I'm sure. It's December 2nd, the start of Advent, and the day of our first taste. The day we first tasted that miraculous apple. My time loops usually start from around now, although I've never been able to relive this exact moment before now. What should I do? Or our so-called save point is created when we bite into our respective apples. But what if we just don't? Although according to Yune, there's no more do-overs after this one, so it shouldn't matter. To be fair, the very act of reliving the fateful day that set everything into motion is in itself irregular.
よし、今年も私が一番乗りだ。
I'm glad. He cheers up immensely on seeing the tree is still devoid of decoration. Despite the absence of any kind of artificial lighting, the stars are bright enough to brightly illuminate the area around the tree. Just like always. In fact, nothing seems different. Including what Yune does next.
週にもお裾分け。
Huh?
そう、私と同じでリンゴの飾り。
I take the green apple ornament from her outstretched hand before studying it. This is when Yune goes to hang her ornament on the tree, only for it to turn into a real apple. The red apple of life, and the ability to turn back time, plus the green apple of knowledge. The fruit that caused humanity's exile and led us down the strange path we find ourselves on now. The forbidden fruit. Christmas trees represent the infamous tree from the Garden of Eden. As such, the most appropriate ornament for the tree is not a star or a bell, but an apple.
アダムとエバが食べたのも赤リンゴと青リンゴだったのかな。
She pretends to take a bite of the apple in her hand as she speaks. There's no way she would ever believe her ornament could be a real fruit.
それでね、飾りをつけたら願い事をするの。
Got it. We both hold our respective apples in our hands. We step close to one of the branches and gently tie the ornaments to it. Our wish in that moment seems pretty obvious.
昨夜が帰ってきてくれますように。
The two of us wish upon the stars in the night sky. Almost immediately after. They're doing it again! Our ornaments suddenly glow before falling to the ground as real apples, just like before. I still don't fully understand it, but apparently the phenomenon can be replicated under similar circumstances. Yune, you still don't remember, do you? The confusion in her eyes speaks volumes. After everything we've lived through, you'd think something might trigger her memories, and yet that's not the case. Then, just like before, we question what we should do with this miraculous yet mysterious gift.
食べる？
Yune posits a challenge of sorts. Our fate from here on out will be set in stone once we take a bite. Wait. Doing everything exactly the way we did it in the first time will negate our time travel efforts.
シュー？
Hold on. That apple is... That's right. This is our one and only chance. If I want to actually change time and fate. Think about it. What exactly can we do now? Can we do right now? The apple of life, the apple of knowledge, forbidden fruit grown inside the Garden of Eden. The tools to send us back through time to create our save point is in doing so. This is my one and only chance to relive this moment, and I can't waste it. You know, I know this may sound weird, but I needed to listen. You see, that apple is... You're like, this is why Sakuya is not a bad person, right? She's not evil in the sense, because with the amount of times Shu has been able to travel back, there was an equal amount of times that Sakuya is able to travel back even further, and during those times she could have easily just made him not eat the apple, right? Like, set up circumstances where Shu and Yune wouldn't eat the apple, right? But that never happens. But, you know, we already know why. She's a yandere. The start of Advent brings along an all too familiar Tuesday. However, the usual chain of events unfolds in a very unexpected way. Well, yeah, Sakuya's in here. What?
しゃあ雪がすんだやるぞ私も
さーて、俺はソリでも出してくるか。
私は雪だるまでも作ってようかな。
The snow turns gym class into a free period. When I was closer to Kirie, I joined her snowball fight. When I was closer to Kotaha, I helped her with her snowman. Originally, I spent most of our free period with Sakuya in her igloo. Thinking back, it was the first time we were alone together, and it helped us get closer. Well, maybe for you, but for her, she was already close enough with you. I still remember the conversation we shared. How come you're not out there with everyone else?
運動はあまり得意でないので、私はこうやって落ち着いてる方が好きです。
It's a peaceful way to pass the time. Sakuya sits beside me leisurely, sipping her green tea. Time slows to a crawl as we sit side by side, engaged in pleasant conversation.
雪合戦の方が良かったですか？
Not at all. I've never been in an igloo before. It's really warm in here, and the tea is yummy.
はい、ありがとうございます。
She's a year younger than me, and a girl. But, like, in reality, she's mentally, like, a dozen years older. Despite the lack of noticeable walls between us, she remained shrouded in mystery to the me of this moment of time. In that moment of time. She really is a sweet girl, though, despite calling me a perv sometimes. Thinking back, I remember she asked me a question.
シュウ先輩はまだ思い出せませんか？
No, I could still only remember bits and pieces. She asked me if I remembered anything yet. At the time, I'd assumed she was talking about my memories regarding the outside world, but in reality, she was checking to see if the side effects from the muse she dosed me with were still working.
こうやってずっと一緒に過ごしたりはできませんか？
I mean, like, me, I would. But, you know, Yune's technically, like, the main girl.
なんて冗談です。何事も永遠に続くことなんて ありませんから。
At the time, I had no idea what was going on through her head. Was she trying to get closer to me? Even while I had no memory of anything that happened to me? Sakuya. I can't figure out what she's up to. I also have no clue why she ran off 2 weeks ago and hasn't come back since. I'm definitely gonna need some questions answered when I find her. Me too! First, I need to find her. Then I need to stop her. I know deep in my heart that Sakuya would never have wanted things to end like this.
おいシュウ、何落ち込んだ顔してんだ。雪合戦やるぞ。
Oh, sure, I'd love to. For now, all I can do is enjoy time with my friends, just doing my best. Because when Sakuya returns, I need to make sure all my friendships are the same as always. Yune, Kirie, Kotaha, and me. We need to be ready to greet her with smiles to rival any of our previous timelines. Ow. After having dinner in the bath, I'm back at the dorm entrance. Setting aside Sakuya's marked absence, my everyday life seems the same as always.
シュウは不思議だよな。何にも覚えてないのに、昨夜のことだけは覚えてるなんて。
Honestly, I think it's pretty weird too. It feels like my purpose in life is to find her. And fuck, I mean, I've successfully established myself as a boy with amnesia trying desperately to find Sakuya. My initial self-introduction as Santa Claus has already been long forgotten, and everyone's treating me more or less the same as before. The only big difference this time around is that everyone knows I'm looking for Sakuya. There was no way I could feign ignorance about her, so it was only a matter of time before it came to light.
結局シュウとサクヤはどういう関係なんだ。俺はシュウが外から来たというのは真実だと思っているが。
Yeah, I definitely did. But the fact of the matter is, I also know Sakuya.
シュウもよく分かってないんだな。
I'm looking for Sakuya, but I have to try my best to avoid discussing our relationship. I'm finding myself struggling to remember what I can say and what I shouldn't. But I haven't managed to contradict myself yet.
記憶がないにもかかわらず追い求める相手。それはもしや。
Don't say it.
恋人ですかね。
There it is. Not yet, alright?
その線が濃厚だ。
Girlfriend? I don't know about that. She wishes.
覚えてもないのになんでそう言い切れるんだよ。
I mean, yeah, but still.
大事な相手には違いないんだろう
She does. She does mean a lot to me. She's like a little sister. Yeah, definitely. But, yeah, a little sister, but you live in Alabama. But since we've never shared those kinds of feelings before, I feel weird acknowledging the possibility.
恋人じゃなければ家族とかほら兄弟とかさ。
Siblings. Would have made things easier if I said that from the start. Maybe this is a little too late now. Maybe it's a little too late now. I need to keep my answer somewhat vague. It's not completely out of the question, I guess. Haha. It sucks not remember anything.
あまり似てないと思うがな。
じゃあ親子？
Huh? Now that's that's just ridiculous. At any rate, they seem to understand the relationship between Sakuya and I was unusual. Our conversation aside, Sakuya didn't return to the dorms that night. We stood around chatting until Yuji got tired, which is when we went to bed. The vocal recognition device didn't work well with only one syllable. I thought the system was fun at first, but I quickly found being forced to talk is a pain. I'll just use my fingerprints instead. I press my index finger against the sensor and the door immediately unlocks. I step inside my room after going through the motions I've repeated ad nauseum. The gold ladder leading up to Kyrie's room is naturally propped up next to my window, evidence that my friendship with Kyrie remains intact. Or rather, considering Kyrie's worry over Sakuya's whereabouts, our friendship seems to be built upon an unprecedented mutual understanding. It's pretty late, and I'm exhausted. I should sleep. That's when I realized today is Tuesday. Time for Aurora Night, everyone's favorite radio program hosted by Leela every Tuesday night at 10. I've tuned into her broadcast countless times, but I've never listened to tonight's show, ever.
クルック。ただいま、12月4日火曜日、21時56分。
I've only ever listened to her broadcasts on the 11th, the 18th, and the 25th. Mainly because I first learned of her show's existence tomorrow morning. But speaking of Aurora Night... Fuck you! Let's hope I don't Yes, okay. Guten Advent, my lovely listeners. Welcome to Aurora Night with your host, Leela. Although I wonder if there's anyone even listening to my broadcast, if there's no signal, then all I'm doing is soliloquizing out into the static.
リラもね、別にみんなを見殺しにしたいわけじゃないんだよ。でも、あまり手出しはすべきじゃないかなって。この街はやっぱりさ、そういう運命なんだよね。
Hang on. What the hell is your problem, Leela? Based on her Christmas night broadcast, it was clear she knew the fate of the town. There might not be anything important tonight, but I still want to listen. Her show is shrouded in mystery, including the identity of Leela herself. I mean, like, is it Sakuya? Because, like, you know...
そういやよ、ことね。昨日の聞いた？ああ、聞いたよ。クレープ屋さんのトッピングが無料だってね。ありゃ行くっきゃね
えよ。Sakuya's got the connections to pose as a different person, though. Idle chatter about the program didn't seem important at the time, but the more I think about it, the more I realize how important it is to tune in. With that said, I don't have a radio. I could have gotten one earlier in the afternoon if I remembered sooner. The program was about to start, just when I was at my wit's end. Yes, I mean, an unexpected visitor suddenly appears at my door, breaking the usual pattern of events.
ごめんね、夜遅くに。ちょっと聞きたいことがあって。
It's Yune. I welcome her with open arms, delighted by the fortuitous bargaining chip. Sure, Yune. I actually have a favor to ask in return.
あ、
Can I use your radio?
来ると思ってなかったから散らかってるけど、気にしないで。
It's perfectly clean. Besides, I was in here a week ago.
だってシュウの部屋に比べたら汚いもん。
That's because you got more stuff in it. Sure, but it's not like I own anything. As we engage in small talk, Yune hooks up her radio so I can use it. He was originally going to listen when she finished her errands.
はーい、皆さんグーテンアーベント。今週も始まりました。ラジオオーロラナイト。よかった。間に合ったみたい。
That was close. Although her radio is the same model as my previous one, the sound quality is different. I dismiss it as a byproduct of her very girly decorated room. I kind of forced my way into her room at 10 at night. At 10 at night, no less. Pretty inconsiderate. Courier might have ruined whatever normal social sensibilities I once had. I hope you can forgive me, Yune.
今日はそういえば雪が降ってましたけど、皆さんはどうやって過ごしてましたか？
And so tonight's Aurora Night starts, just like always, with Lila chatting seemingly aimlessly to no one in particular. Yune giggles to herself as she listens. It's such an innocent thing to do.
っていうかシュウは今日オーロラナイトの日だって知ってたの？
I was waiting for them to ask. I'm pretty sure I heard some kids in class talking about it earlier.
私もだけど聞いてる人多いよ、これは。キリエもだし、琴葉さんも。
Yeah, I'm well aware. And yet, none of them are aware of Leela's bizarre broadcast on Christmas night. Who exactly is Leela, anyway? Her voice sounds oddly familiar, like I've heard it before. I mean, it's either Rinka or it's Sakuya. And I don't... so...
ところで、最近またまた黒サンタなんていう噂が流行ってるの知ってる？なんでもアレイヤの1年生がいなくなっちゃったんだって。
Leela is her own person. You sure? Because, like, why would Shu say, why does she sound familiar? Yeah. So it's a red herring. Man, fuck you, Shu. That's Sakuya, but how does she know? Considering she mentions the topic of my transfer, she's clearly has connections to the school. Clearly has connections to the school. But that she knows about Saki's disappearance.
まだ全然クリスマスじゃないのにね。怖がってる子もいるみたいだけど、まあ気にしなくていいってリラは思うかな。あんまり現実的な話じゃないし。昨夜がいなくなってるのは本当なのに。
I'm pretty sure she's just talking about Bad Santa's existence. She probably thinks Sakuya just ran away from home. Still, the way she's talking about all this bothers me a lot.
それと、そうそう、リラね、最近ずっと大事にしてたヘアピンを落としちゃって、すっごい丁寧に探したんだけど、全然見つからないんだよね。それでもう諦めてたらびっくり。ある日ポンって机の上に置かれてたの。
There is a scene toward the end with Sister Lily and Leela. You know what? Leela's the headmaster. I don't know.
なんかメロンが、あ、メロンっていうのはうちの猫の名前ね。がね、勝手にどっかに隠してたらしいんだけど、本人も気が済んだのか返しに来てくれてたみたい。 ほんと何があるかわからないよね。
Her lost item reappeared right before she gave up. It's a tale as old as time and definitely not something I'd usually take seriously.
今この放送を聞いてるかどうかはわからないんだけど、もしそんな探し物をどうしても見つけたい子がいたら、このリラがいいことを教えてあげようかな。
Yeah? Something that's missing.
何度やってもうまくいかない。人生そんなこといくらでもあるよね。だったらそんな時は見方を変えてみればいい。探しても見つからないものがあるなら、向こうからやってくるのを待てばいいのさ。なんちゃって。でもほら、メロンの隠し穴なんてリラじゃ絶対に分かんなかったから、探すのって限度があるよね。
探しても見つからないもの。昨夜のことみたいだね。
It's not just like that. Lil is absolutely talking about her. Also, things not working out no matter how much you try. It certainly comes off as a universal truth, but it's hard to pinpoint anything too unusual about her bringing it up. And yet, the way she mentioned it makes me feel as if she's aware of my wacky time travel misadventures. But how is that possible? Does she really know? Who the hell is she? I mean, like, how could she not be in cahoots with Sakuya? Who are they? How should they know? And how are they involved? Is this a coincidence? An unavoidable inevitability? And if so, what started this chain of events?
というわけで、次はリラの占いコーナー。
The rest of Aurora Night, which lasts until 10:30 p.m. is filled with idle chit-chat, not much different from every other broadcast I've tuned into.
終わっちゃったね。明日のクーポンはサンドイッチ屋さんか。あんまり行かないな。
If you can't find what you're looking for, wait for it to find you. Sakuya has to make a move at some point. She has at least until Christmas. Should I stop trying to find her myself? Honestly, I'm not sure why I'm giving credence to some strange to some strangers unasked for opinion.
シュウ、大丈夫？怖い顔してるけど。
Oops. Sorry. It's far too late for me to still be here. I'm gonna head back.
うん、大丈夫。シュウにもラジオ用意してもらえるよう頼んどくね。
And I appreciate it. Also, I have one last question for you, if you don't mind. No one knows who Lily is, do they?
うん、知らない。どこから放送してるのかも。
I see. I mean, apparently Sister Lily knows. The mysteries surrounding her are too numerous to ignore. And yet, the clues leading to her identity are far fewer than to Sakuya's whereabouts. Chapter 12, Part 2, The Labyrinthian Serpentina. The Labyrinthine Serpentina, I guess. 5th of December. 20 more days. ...
クルック。ただいま12月5日水曜日22時21分。
Yep. She's not here. Why would she be? It's Wednesday, December 5th. It's been a week since I awoke in Yune's room. Originally, this is when Sakuya visits my room. But no matter how long I wait, there's no knock on my door.
シュウ先輩の部屋に行けというお告げが来ました。
It's way past curfew. Wait, what? What do you mean? What do you have there?
枕カバーです。
Oh. I know it was the most boring request ever, but I had no idea what store even sells them.
そういえば、シュウ先輩がここに来て今日で1週間ですね。
The days sure fly by, huh?
私はむしろまだそれしか経ってないんだって思います。
Oh, yeah?
はい。もうずっと一緒にいたような。
Nah, Bro. I love that every fucking line that Sakuya, that every fucking word that comes out of Sakuya's mouth is recontextualized after we find out that she's been time traveling this whole time. She always stopped by to see me at the exact time on the exact date, despite having the freedom to change her pattern of behavior like me. Well, yeah, but if that happened, then you'd suspect her of being able to time travel, right? If you went through 2 instances of this, and one instance is both instances are the exact same, the only difference being that Sakuya changed the date and time in which she gave you the pillowcase, you would be suspicious. Very much so. When she said it felt like we'd been together forever, she had meant every word. But then I changed up what I did.
はあ、
What's wrong?
枕カバー買ったんですね。
See, and that's when Sakuya realized that Shu was able to go back in time. Yeah, I did. Just yesterday, in fact.
ないかと思って持ってきてあげましたのに。
I ended up buying a pillowcase myself, even without knowing where they were sold. It must have caught Sakuya completely off guard. She played along under the guise that we'd only met a week ago, just like I did. Well, actually, it probably would have been the fact... in fact, it probably wasn't the pillowcase where Sakuya was suspicious of how Shu going back in time. It's probably when he was very friendly with her, despite it only in his mind being like 3 days, right? In the timeline, I guess it would have only been 3 days since they first met. She must have noticed me switching up my behavior across every timeline. That's probably why she tried so hard to stick to our original script, at least when we were together, to avoid me figuring out the truth. Yeah, but like, imagine how many times she fucked up, and then was like, ah, shit, I need to go back in time again, right? Because now she has the added extra like months to like set everything up. And honestly, can you imagine how lonely that is? Right? Like, the ability to go back in time, especially for how long Sakuya does it for, like, she has to go through the same rigmarole for like a full ass year. And other than how boring it is, right? It's just the loneliness of it, right? It's hard to explain. Because it's kind of the same situation as like Subaru in ReZero, but like exasperated even further. Because like at least in ReZero, the furthest back in time he goes is like a week, I think, or like a few days. Meanwhile, you've got Shu, who has to go back a full month, and then you've got Sakuya, who has to go back a full ass year. Right? Like, holy shit. Hang on, I didn't... Okay, no, I did with that. Hey, Sakuya.
Huh?
Sakuya?
はあ、すみません。いきなりで、
But we're literally on our way to eat lunch.
いえ、そうではなく、シュウ先輩が急に近く感じたもので。
Yeah, that's what I meant, right? It wasn't when he changed up his pillowcase thing that when she figured out that he could time travel. She was very much suspicious here, right? At the time, I'd assumed my accidental slip-up had left her feeling uncomfortable, like I was moving too fast. That's what she told me. This is what I love. It recontextualizes her surprise. And now Shu has to point it out to the people who didn't understand why they flashed back to that point. God fucking damn it. But I was wrong. What actually happened was she was thrown off when I suddenly went off the script. Thank you, Shu. It's not like most of the people playing this game wouldn't have figured that out. But if that's true, then why didn't she reach out? Having been down this same road long before me, it would have been easy for her to notice that I was moving outside my predetermined path. But if she knew all that, then why did she choose to continue treating me like a complete stranger each and every time? That is the question, right? Because, well, no, I already answered the question, right? If Sakuya changed up what she did, then Shu would have figured out that she could time travel, right? Sakuya figured out that Shu could time travel because he was going off script. So then if Sakuya did the same, then like, now you figured out that Sakuya can time travel, which means you figured out who the culprit is, right? And this is why she's gone. This is why she's not here, right? Because now it's not like you can stop her. You can't even find her, right? Or something like that. Sakuya's whereabouts are a mystery. My main goal was to stop the apocalypse from happening, making me her natural enemy, yet despite all that, she was always so kind to me. Well, yeah, but the reason why she does the apocalypse thing is probably so that she could... So, that's the interesting part, right? It is because of the apocalypse that Shu was able to go back in time. Which means that Sakuya was able to spend more time with Shu. But, like... She's doing this all for Shu, right? She loves Shu that much that she would spend a whole ass, 11 months being without Shu just to be with him for, like, the whole of December or whatever. Right? See, that's the interesting thing. Is she that obsessive with someone she just met a year ago? Right? She's only known Shu for a full year. Why would she do all of this? For someone... This is very... look, all I'm saying is that I think my line of thinking is way too complicated for this visual novel. I don't think it's gonna go that deep into her psyche. If it does, all props to it, right? But like, you need to come up with a very good explanation. Other than the fact that she's mentally ill or something. One could view her behavior as a convenient cover-up, but deep down inside, I don't believe it. Even though Sakuya turned out to be the person Yune and I referred to as our enemy, it's hard for me to see her as a bad guy. I mean, yeah. I think you should have figured out that she is not evil, right? In the sense that she doesn't want the people in the town to die. Other than, like, the first time around. She doesn't want the people inside the town to die. She just wants the town to be destroyed because she wants to go back in time to see Shu again? But that's the other thing, right? It is interesting. Her behavior is riddled with contradictions, and this applies to everything she's ever done. If her goal is to bring about the apocalypse, then why let me go when she did? It'd be easier to drug me, lock me up, and then get rid of me on Christmas. Yeah, that's the thing. Why did she allow Shu and Yune to have the ability to time travel? Like, okay. In the first place, why is Sakuya not just trying to pursue Shu in, like, the typical visual novel way of being so likable that the person playing the game just has to pick her or something like that, right? I mean, like, look, he's very much my type, but, like, that's the problem, right? She's my type. He's not everyone's type. And Dexter is a, you know, he can confirm that he likes Kyrie more. But she doesn't. She wakes me up, gets me into her school, and treats me like a classmate. How does any of that benefit her? The only advantage I can see from her doing so is that we get to become friends. Sheesh. What a mess you've made, Sakuya. Yeah, I know. I've been yapping for too long. I scratched the back of my head absently while trying to organize my jumbled thoughts. And now you're lying low somewhere. I know you really have. I know you never really would have. I know you never really would have wanted any of this to happen, right? What a sentence. I'm confident she knows far more about what's going on than I do. I'll never understand what drives her until I see the situation from her perspective. I'm here to stop the impending apocalypse, which means I must have known about it from the start. I know. I remembered everything back at the lake, as clear as crystal, but all of that's gone now. My memory loss is undoubtedly due to being dosed with Muse. That means my memory of the outside world are a threat to Sakuya carrying out her plan, and she knows that. Yeah, that's the thing. Well, fuck. There's just too many questions I have. Now, okay, I've already asked the question of why Sakuya needs to make him forget about the outside world. And the only reason I could come up with is the fact that if Shu knows more about the outside world, then he would know how to escape the Aurora. But, like, wouldn't that be a good thing? Well, no. Because if Shu is able to tell everyone how to escape the Aurora, then Sakuya wouldn't be able to use her time travel, right? Fuck. This is very complicated. This is getting on like this is getting on like fucking Isekai levels of shit. And you know, just like in Isekai, I'm probably overcomplicating this to shit. Am I right? There has to be some kind of clue hidden somewhere in town. The knowledge I've gained thus far, it's time to finally put it to good use in solving the mystery of this town. And I refuse to let the miracle Yune prayed for countless times go to waste. Dexter, am I overcomplicating this? $11, $12, $13. I've been scrambling about since then, trying to find where Sakuya might be. And I'm not the only one. All of her friends who are equally as worried are doing the same. What? I'm asking if I'm complicating this. Am I complicating the mystery in this game? With all of the questions I've been asking and trying to answer. Somehow, though, none of us have stumbled on any sort of clue or sign we're getting anywhere. IDK, what did you ask? Bro. Are you even watching the... No, you know what? Never. Don't ask the question. I already know you're chatting with chatbots. The aurora that encircles the town means there's no way she's gone anywhere outside of it. Which means she purposefully went into hiding, decreasing our chances of finding her. As yet another unintended side effect of Saki's disappearance. Hey, Kyrie, what's going on with your whole prank operation?
ドッキリってなんだ?
Yeah, I don't know what you're... Shu, I don't know why you're asking Kyrie about the prank thing, when the only reason it was the only reason it existed was because Sakuya exposed her, diaper fetish. I forgot what it was. With Sakuya missing, the diaper incident never happened. Without those feelings of rage and resentment, there was no reason to prank anyone. Shooting for her film has become more difficult as well, without a costume designer. Granted, Kyrie in this timeline wouldn't be aware of any of that. But things are clearly very different without her. Also, you caught a cold.
みたいな。ちょっと喉が痛くて。
He's never gotten sick before. Is this also due to Saku's absence? Just like a butterfly flapping its wings, creating a tornado on the other side of the world, the impact of the disappearance of someone we cared for so deeply is measurable. There might not be any tornadoes here, but the ripples she caused in our everyday lives are too big to ignore. And the worst part is that I'm not going to get any answers to the questions I've been asking until you find her. I have to find another way. A way for me to stop the apocalypse from happening. I have no idea what caused her to go into hiding, but it's clear she's been countering every move I've been making this every time. This entire time. In fact, one might say she's the reason why I haven't yet stopped the apocalypse from happening. But if she's no longer around, if I could successfully prevent the apocalypse, it might force her out of hiding. Instead of looking for her, I'm trying to lure her out. If she's countering my every move, then there's no way she could turn a blind eye to what I'm doing. He probably hasn't set the Brookers yet. Of course not. If she set them all out now, it'd be easy enough for me to find and disarm them. I need to focus on what's worked so far. Despite being unable to stop the apocalypse, I have on several occasions minimized the damage. For example,
大脱出だ。駆け落ちすんぞ、シュウ。
the Tunnel of Babel that Kyrie dug leading to the great unknown. Although I hadn't been able to stop the widespread destruction, I was able to find an underground escape route. Granted, I never found out if that path actually led to the outside world or not. Yeah, me neither. Fucker.
21時44分に開かずの扉が開かれる。
And then there was the message left by Sakuya herself about the art gallery door unlocking at 9:44 p.m. Yet another underground escape route, although I still have no idea if we'd be safe down there. Me neither. And if so, then it's clear Sakuya wanted us to stay alive. Then there was the time Sakuya and I, along with Jack's help, built our own version of Noah's Ark to escape through a hole in the Aurora. That option seems the most ironclad, assuming we can get everything ready in time. Sakuya was the one who had originally planted the idea of this so-called hole in my head, and she probably knew about it all along. True. She probably knew about it because of Shu. When Shu told someone, I guess maybe Sakuya, about the whole of how he got into, the Aurora through the hole in the wall, right? On January something. I forgot what the date was. But if that's the case, then was our escape always a plan of, was our escape always a part of her plans? Not the first time, but every other time, yes. Most of the time. Even after everything I've experienced and relived, there's still a lot of loose ends. And the mystery of Aurora Night is one of them. God damn it. Although I wonder if there's anyone even listening to my broadcast, if there's no signal, then all I'm doing is that word out into the static. I'm not saying it again. Oh, my dear is on the verge of being engulfed in flames. Oh, the thought of alone is chilling. I remember how carefree Lila sounded during the almost surreal broadcast of hers on Christmas Day, disconnected from the chaos. And yet she knew full well what was taking place. Her true identity and her ties to the apocalypse, if any, are both shrouded in a deep fog.
納得のいく作品じゃなくなった。それだけだ。
Oh shit, we're seeing side character routes? Then there was Guido's unexplained disappearance, similar to Sakuya's now. That was the closest I've ever been to Guido. He never disappeared in the other timelines, leaving the truth behind his vanishing act a mystery. I mean, that's the thing, isn't it? There's a lot to Guido that we don't know yet. And we're going to get it soon. Right? He knows a lot more than he lets on, just like Kotaha. But he isn't saying it to anyone. Unlike Kotaha. And then there's Bad Santa. Does such a person truly exist? Is it Guido? I've relived the same loop countless times, and although I failed a lot, I succeeded in some ways too. If I could somehow combine all the experiences I've had thus far, I think I can do it this time. I've managed to learn things I realistically wouldn't have been able to. And I've come to know all the folks in my life very well. And yet, despite all that, myself and this town, those are the only remaining unknown variables in this equation. It's kind of ironic that I know so much about my friends, but not about me. The bigger mystery is who was the other person that was sending Sakuya back in time before Yune. Because the only answer I've got is the headmaster, and I wouldn't be surprised if there was another answer, right? Like, what if it's Guido, because he has ties to the headmaster or something like that? I've grown used to my amnesia over time, although I only recently realized its cause. I mean, look,
ミューズの副作用はね、シュウ君。
at least in this vision novel, there's a reason why he has amnesia, right? Like, other times, it starts off with main character has amnesia. Why? Because he, like, bumped his head or something, right? It is such a cliche of how you get amnesia. It's very much annoying, right? Just like Crow in Sugar Sweet Temptation. But I haven't played that game in a while.
記憶喪失。
Muse. The forbidden drug that caused Rinka to forget everything. Sakuya dosed me with a kiss. Worth it. I mean, should investigating that be my top priority? Along with Muse, though, there's...
違和感？
Yeah, there's something in this town that's not quite right. I mean, look... Look, all I'm saying is that the fucking mural shit has something to do with this, right? And I hate that it does, because we haven't gotten anything after like a few like loops of the mural shit, right? I once confided in Sakuya, telling her how I felt. There was something off about the town. Something that should be here, but isn't. Something that's blatantly missing. Yeah, if only I could think of what would be blatantly missing. I can't figure out what that might be, but considering I'm the only one who notices, I assume it's related to me somehow. I probably only noticed because I'm an outsider. What is wrong with this town?
シュウ君
A voice suddenly interrupts my thoughts. I mean... Look, there are a lot of Chekhov's guns, right? And, like, it's taken a while for them to play their role, right? But it's going to happen soon, right? Like, Jack has roles. Jack has important roles to play that I don't know yet. The fucking mural shit has some important roles that I don't know yet. Rinka does. Sister Lily does. The headmaster does. Right? Like, there's all these loose ends that are going to connect eventually. I hope. Right? I would be so disappointed if there isn't. If not everything connects. Right? Because then, like, why did you set up all of these... Why did you set up X thing if you were never going to pay it off in the end? Right? Something like that. Huh? Oh, Jack, what's wrong? I don't usually see you out here.
ツリーの飾り付けを持ってきたんだ。ちょっと気が早いけど。シュウ君こそどうしたの？
just lost in thought. Should I tell him the truth? That I'm out here checking for bombs? He's a nice guy, but I still don't know him very well. Like, does Jack have ties to the headmaster and he's the one who went back in time with... Well, no, that wouldn't make sense. It has to be the headmaster, right? Because I said fucking... I said Jack, I said Guido. They weren't 100% serious takes, 100% serious theories, because, like, it has to tie in with the fact that they no longer have the ability to go back in time, which means that they would have had to leave the, like, circle of influence that the Christmas tree has in the Aurora. But Guido and Jack are still in here. So, like, they should be able to time travel. So then Sakuya wouldn't have needed Yune to time travel. Fucking hell. If only Dexter was here to listen to my yappening. I have a feeling something bad might happen here soon.
それは仕入れたリンゴが全部虫に食われるとかそういう
Nothing like that. I decided to give it a shot and ask him. Jack's an adult. He must know something that I don't. You wouldn't happen to know anything about where Sakuya might be, huh?
わからないね。ごめん。お店にも商店街そのものにも顔を出してないと思うよ。
Don't worry, I'm listening. Thanks, Starving. But, like, you don't know anything I'm talking about. It's okay, I figured as much.
さくやちゃんはどうしたの？僕が聞いていいことじゃないのかもしれないけど。
Most people would probably answer his question with a simple, I have no clue. True. But I'm more aware of the situation behind her disappearance than most people. I wish I could ask her directly, but it's hard for me to believe she'd be very forthcoming with the truth. I think she ran away from me. She's grown to despise me. I don't think that's the case. I do my best to answer as vaguely as possible. There's too much backstory to sum up succinctly, so I lay out the current situation as it stands. Now that I think about it, speaking of Jack, I remember something we have in common. Damn, even Jack's side story. But Shu, you really don't remember anything, right? I feel for you. You see, I have a similar affliction a while back. Had a similar affliction a while back. Nowhere near the scale of yours, of course. And I'm not sure if I should be talking about this at all.
昔学生だった頃にね。ちょっと怪我しちゃった時に。それまで数日間何をしてたか忘れちゃったことがあって。
I didn't make the connection at the time since he described it as an injury, but in hindsight his story reminds me of another. A person whose story I heard from Kotaha.
懺悔室から戻ってきた凛花はそれまでのことを何も覚えていなかったんだ。
Is it a coincidence? No, it can't be. There's too many coincidences for it to not be a pattern. No way. There's no chance. Total amnesia is a pretty rare condition. Yeah. But when it comes to fiction, apparently it's not rare enough. Muse has the ability to wipe a person's memories clean. I know from personal experience. I decided to ask him point blank. Hey, Jack, you suffered some memory loss of your own, didn't you?
ああ、昔だけど。 どうしてそんなことを知ってるの？
I forgot. Do you remember what happened that led to your memory loss?
いやー、何分昔のことだし、そもそも何が起こったかを忘れちゃってたからね。ただ、高いところから落ちたとは聞いたよ。
You heard, but who told you? A fall from a great height. It's consistent with the story he told me previously.
実際、腰をやっちゃってたしね。回復にはしばらく時間がかかったけど。
So, you really don't remember anything that happened after the accident?
今となっては数年前の話だから、ただの物忘れになっちゃってるかもしれないけど。うん。とにかく気づいたら、数日経ってたみたいな。
Bingo. People who lose their memories under normal circumstances wouldn't feel the passage of time. So you fell from somewhere high up, got hurt, and suffered mild amnesia. Is that about right?
うん。あんな大きな怪我は初めてだったし、今もちょっと高いところが怖いからね。
I see. But where could you have possibly fallen from that was that high off the ground?
そうだね。学校の屋上とか。ああ、でもそれなら助かってないか。
No, this is his loose end that he's tying up. What about the dorm roof? Or even the second or third floors?
当時それも考えたんだけど、どれもピンとこなかったんだよね。僕を運んでくれたのが誰かもわからなかったし。
Yeah, but who told you you fell? I see. In that case, unluckily for him, he'd fallen from somewhere high up and got injured. Was it possible? Do you think he might have fallen while trying to scale the Aurora? I mean, it is a very big possibility. I'm not gonna lie. But, like, how? Right? That's the next question. Suddenly, his entire face lights up. The next moment, he lowers his gaze to the ground, as if deep in thought.
オーロラ。オーロラか。確かに、ほどほどの高さから落ちることはあり得るだろうね。ただ、
You can't see yourself trying to do something like that?
当然だよ。そんな罰当たりな。
I agree, and we should overthrow the government. I mean, that's the problem. There isn't a government here in this town, right? The highest level of power is like the headmaster of a high school. So, you know, I guess I guess we need to overthrow the education system. He denies it vehemently, clearly frazzled. It's a pretty strong response. I just need one more piece of evidence to prove my theory. Oh, right. I never asked you this before, but...
何かな？
What's your real name? Up until now, I've only ever called him Jack. As a graduate from the Saint Aria Academy, he must be more than simply a jack of all trades.
へえ、店長でいいよ。たまに聞かれるけど、答えたら似合わないって言われるし。
Sorry, I can't hear you over the fucking shitty audio. Anyway, what'd you say again? Look, it wasn't as bad as last stream, but...
へえ、店長でいいよ。たまに聞かれるけど、答えたら似合わないって言われるし。
The mystery is keeping me up all night. Keeping me up at night.
それなら。そうそう。 この手作りの収納棚とか今絶賛売り出し中なんだけど。
I'll take it.
毎度あり。それなら答えないわけにはいかないかな。
Jack's real name. The answer I've been waiting for.
龍河だよ。
凛花は少し規格外だったけど、脱走を試みる生徒は今までにもいたらしいからね。そうそう、私も知らない上の代で、確か龍河という男子生徒が結構やんちゃだったみたい。
We found Jack's purpose. I can't believe this. I was just talking about loose ends. I'm finally sure of it. The kid Kotaha told me about who simply ran off. It's Jack. But if that's true, then...
あ、ほら、似合わないって顔してる。
No, that's not... Well, no, he's right.
笑われちゃうからあんまり言わないんだ。子供たちに店長って呼ばれるの好きだしね。
I'll keep calling you Jack then. Thanks for telling me your real name, though. Still, with that in mind... What should I do? Should I tell him what I know? It's clear Jack still has no clue, but the real story of what happened to him seems obvious to me. Doesn't he deserve to know the truth? Or is it better if he remains in the dark? Okay. The only issue... Chapter 12, Part 3, the attribute of the Alto Atelier. But what about the color of the attribute? Okay, the only problem I have with this piece of information is that... Wouldn't it... Okay. No. It is... I'm just curious if that piece of information would have been better in Jack's route. Right? Because, okay, the only piece of information we got from Jack's route that was useful to the overarching plot is the fact that he also has memory loss. If you included the fact that if you included his real name in the plot in the side story, and then you go to Kotaha's route and she tells you about a boy named Ryuga. Oh. See, that's the problem, right? Because it's only relevant now. So it wouldn't make sense. It wouldn't... It'd be like, oh, that's cool. So Jack also tried to escape the Aurora. But also, like... Fuck, man, I don't know. I'm not smart enough to be able to know if it would have been better to know his real name in the sub story.
ただいま12月12日水曜日5時40分
It's a bit bright for 5:40, especially since it's winter. Nyam nyam, so sleepy. I force my still very exhausted body out of bed before going to splash cold water on my face. This isn't usually a day where I wake up early, but I have something important to do.
いつものことです。例の落書き魔が出たようですので。
Okay, yes. Thank you. I was waiting for this guy to show up again.
これは謎の壁画事件の第8章。間違いありませんね、リリー先生。
Whoever this guy is. The mysterious muralist.
街のどこかで不定期に謎の壁画が描かれる悪質な事件だ。犯人は未だ捕まっていない。油彩画を専攻してる連中に疑いの目が向けられてるが、そうなるとあまりにも短絡的すぎる。 俺の推理では逆にない。
I can't believe I talked about loose ends in this plot, and then the minute after they start doing it. I mean, I know what I'm going to title this VOD, but like
なんで探偵気取ってるんですか？
the mysterious muralist. Their graffiti included havoc happened twice. Their graffiti-induced havoc happened twice since I began attending classes. Until now, I've ignored them as unrelated incidents, but I'm not about to let that happen this time around. Yeah, I want to know what it is. I doubt it'll bring me any closer to Sakuya, but it might give me a hint. The original art was discovered by students on their way to class and cleaned up by Sister Lily. Oh, he's looking at that one. I thought he was talking about the one that was in the park that Sakuya found. It's possible they left it last night, but I have a feeling I might run into it. Might run into the culprit if I leave now. At least you'll find out what the mural looks like. I agree. We should travel back in time and stop the invention of AI. There's nothing wrong with AI, alright? The problem with AI is that too many people are using it for bad purposes, right? Like, AI is very useful to make shit easier, right? But now you've got bad people who are using AI, and now AI is being used as the scapegoat for those bad people, right? I wonder what it looks like anyway. I've never been able to see any of the muralist pieces.
あの壁画は絵っつうより模様だからな。よくわかんねえ。
AI stole Dexter from us. You know what? That's true. But like, is that really a bad thing? A design.
ああ、俺も数回しか見たことないけど、いろんな色の顔料で変築な模様が描かれてる。
私が見たことあるのもそんなんだった。
でも、あの模様に近いもんをどっかで見たことあるような気もするんだよな。
If you can remember, it might lead you to in the right direction.
にゃ、全然思い出せない。ただの勘だしな。
Everyone I talked to described the graffiti as a weird pattern. If it's the work of a St. Aria student, then the quality should still be pretty high. It must also be pretty vile if Sister Lily is always so quick to erase it. Vile might not be the right word. It could also simply be some kind of optical illusion. Let's go, I guess. You know what? Maybe it's like a painting of the outside world. What if it's just Picasso? After getting ready, I head off to school far earlier than usual. I still have stream in the background, but I like being insulted. Okay. Okay, okay, I was like, the music stopped. That means we're gonna see someone, right? But like, I guess not. And now we do. Huh? Yune? It's so early that even Kyrie is still sound asleep. And yet, when I get to the front entrance of the dorms, I see none other than Yune. She seems just as surprised to see me as I do her.
どうしたの、シュウ？乳搾り？
What? Not exactly, although I'm wondering the same thing about you.
朝練しに行こうかなって。今なら学校誰もいないから。
Oh, good idea. It sounds like she was planning on leaving early to practice her singing at the school. It makes sense considering she can sing as loud as she can, as loud as loud as she wants without bothering anyone, but don't tell me Yune's behind the graffiti murals. That would be interesting, wouldn't it? But like, would she really? Because, okay, if she's done this every loop, but none of the loops have her telling Sister Lily about the murals. But like, if she's going to school early, doesn't that mean she would be painted? Doesn't that mean she would have seen the murals? But then, is she doing this because Sakuya is missing? Right? I don't know. Come on. No way. Get real. This is Yune.
それでシュウは
Have you heard about the mysterious muralist? This mysterious muralist.
知ってるよ。私見たことあるけど、たまに街の壁に出現する落書きでしょ？
That's right.
いつもリリー先生が消してくれてるからいいけど、あんま気分良くないよね。それがどうかしたの？
I think they're making one right now.
Huh?
It's just a hunch, though. You know, it's just a hunch. She seems taken aback by my out of the blue prediction, but who wouldn't be?
どういうこと？シュウがやるみたいな？
How could he be? No, there's also a chance they're already done, but there should be a new graffiti piece on the St. Aria building itself. The school building itself. I've never actually seen it, and I have no proof to back me up. Despite all that, I remain firm in my conviction, rewarding me with a strange look from Yune. The only way to trigger her memories is to prove that I know what's going to happen before it does. Despite having met only several weeks before, there was already a level of trust between us. If I could just borrow some of the original Yune's strength, I have a feeling I won't be able to succeed without it.